Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks. Today, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, the Big Dolfy himself, who sent in a replay today with a description, something along the lines of, never before done, never seen again. And I'm super excited to see what goes on in this match. You can tell by the true skill values over here on the right-hand side of the map that this is definitely a Supreme Commanders kind of game. We've got some team leaders going on here with a whole bunch of little nooblings tagging along for the ride here, and this should be really fun to watch. So I guess I've already spoiled the surprise, but the red team leader is going to be the Dolfy themselves. Oh, it's Dolfy. Twitch.tv/OhhItsDolfy. Nice. 1,000 viewers on stream. GG. Very nicely done. Going for some wind power here and going to be spawning in the beachhead lane of the southwestern side for the red team here. Meanwhile, on the northern team, our blue team leader is going to be Phalange. Phalange going to be a Cortex commander here with a bot lab on the front lines of Supreme Straits. Interesting to see the bot lab, but not uncommon. I tend to prefer the vehicle lab for this position on this map, but certainly the bot lab is just as well because you can get these res bots out nice and quickly to eat up this tremendous amount of metal right here in the middle of the map. Our metal vision should kick in any second now, but I can tell you it's at least a couple hundred metal tied up between all these rocks right here. Very important to snack on those as quickly as you can. Dolfy jumping straight into the water here, as you basically should for this player right here. Nice artwork by Bionic Turd. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, stepping into the water, which is nothing unexpected. We can see Rex also doing the same thing. 21 tidal power definitely means that we should be going for tidal generators on this map. Again, there was that commenter who broke it all down, and it's been a while since I read it, but essentially, from what I remember, the tidal power being around 20, anything above 20, it basically outperforms like everything. Like, I mean, like literally fusion reactors. I think it was like if it's 28, it even outperforms advanced fusion reactors. Like, it's absolutely nuts. But yeah, at 21, we should definitely be building tidal energy. There you can see about 1,000 tied up in these rocks in the middle here, and then a couple hundred in the rocks on the side. So really nicely done. I also love that we're eating up from the enemy's pile first. That's always a really great idea to make sure that we deny them that metal at all costs here. Very nicely done. 01 Hex is going to be at a slight disadvantage. Really, actually, a pretty severe disadvantage for having all this metal gone, when realistically it probably should have gone to them. Showing that the experience will come into play here. Meanwhile, Cerimos is going for... They've actually gone for an air... Oh no, they've gone for a bot lab here. These are from the back line. We do have a couple of constructor planes out to claim this island. That's very nicely done. I think what I would have liked to see is actually one of these going to this island over here, and then another one of these going over here. Oh, a little bit of a drawing there. I think that probably would have been a little bit better here, but, I mean, 2 of them at a time working on this island is going to be just as well, although I think they should go after both islands if at all possible. We also get a full scout of Dolfy. Dolfy's production center here. We are just taking a look around with a scout, and that's always nice to know where these players are. Once you've mapped out exactly who's in what location, you sort of know what sides to expect to be pressured the hardest, and you know what sides to be wary of. Now if we take a look into the backline here, I do want to see what the builds are. Bionic Turd going for an air lab. Looks like Emperor Soul is going for that bot lab. Dolfy going for that early contain. That's super important. We do have 1 destroyer out. We have a couple of these skaters coming out as well, which is really nicely done. Meanwhile, for the blue team, it looks like we do have the air lab right here, and we also have a bot lab. We're going up straight to T2. Wind production, yeah, wind is turning back on, so this will probably be enough energy here eventually. Gonna have to eat up a whole lot of metal here, but we do have the lab, we do have the commander, and between all that, we're gonna be right on time for a proper technology upgrade. Contain has been essentially uncontested here on the northern side for the blue team. It's going to be a little harder, though. Looks like this player has actually stepped out into the water. Dolfy went for that destroyer first, which is very powerful, but also it means that this ship is going to come across the sea a little bit slower. And that's fine. It is going to mean that this ship can outrange any of these defenses, so effectively these have no... this destroyer should have infinite value, right, against these against these static defenses. And indeed, someone of Dolphy's actions per minute, we're not going to be pushing too far forward here and wasting any health on this destroyer. Skater and Dolphin out to provide the vision that this destroyer needs in order to fire away at these things, but certainly it's going to be more than plenty. Ceremos is now in a little bit of trouble. They have to deal with the fact that there's a destroyer out, which does have those depth charges and can launch depth charges at the commander, putting the entire operation at risk here. Commander, of course, can shoot its little laser beam up at the destroyer, but now the destroyer is starting to shoot at our own ships, so this could be a huge problem. Whoa! Unfortunate. Looks like... is that Dolphy's commander? That was Dolphy's commander, wasn't it? Dolphy's commander falling right into an anti-air... a little anti-air field right here, set up by these two constructors. And so, overall, it was absolutely correct for Bean to send these constructors over. And yeah, they got the anti-air up just in time to snipe Dolphy's commander. That's really unfortunate. That's a nice little metal gift, assuming, anyways, that these airships... These air constructors are going to go eat up all of Dolphy's production. Sharp having a much better time against all these dolphins than the one destroyer that Dolphy sent over, showing you that the matchup is a little bit more important, especially in the naval theater. Now the destroyer has finally gone down, meaning that Ceremos is going to be able to break out, but they are quickly going to run out of metal here. You know, maybe I spoke too soon on that. They do have a nice little economy going on. Going to be very, very difficult for Dolphy to hold on here, especially after losing that much metal, although it hasn't been reclaimed yet. Ah, looks like they knew you would do that. Confirm. I wonder. Dolphy is a live streamer, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that, but Dolphy's a live streamer. Go check him out whenever he's going live. I don't really know how that works, to truth be told, but whenever he's live, go check him out sometime. Check out some of the VODs on his channel. Again, twitch.tv. Let me write it out here. Twitch.tv/OhhItsDolfy. Oh, that's twit.tv. You're going to want to type twitch.tv. That'll work a whole lot better for you. Don't know what twit.tv is, but it doesn't sound nearly as interesting. But yeah, go check him out. But yeah, I wonder if there was a little bit of a stream sniping shenanigans going on here. We're... Interesting strategy here. We're going to try and build a construction turret to eat up the commander, but instead we're going to go for this anti-air turret to try and shoot down these constructor drones eating up the body, but unfortunately it's going to be a bit too late. Now, luckily these constructor planes are not moving out of here, so this anti-air naval nettle is going to be probably able to fire at these. Yeah, okay, it can shoot them, so they will go down. At this point, proper naval-on-naval engagement here, as Dolphy is forced to make a whole bunch of these dolphins. Mass dolphin production ensues. We've also got a couple of these skaters out as well. A light anti-air option. And Dolphy is going for a heavy laser defense over here. Interesting. Don't see that very often. Backline is continuing to produce economy for both of these sides. Looks like Dolphy has purchased a Twitcher. Whatever we're going to be doing with that. Could go for the Commando. That's always a really cheeky play. I'm expecting something cheeky out of Dolphy, in case you can't tell. 01 Hex. Or Olex, maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure I'm supposed to read that, but 01 Hex. A little bit of trouble here, as Phalange has pushed completely far forward with a bunch of thugs and aggravators, which are, yeah, they're pretty good at tearing down that static defense. They're also pretty good at killing commanders, so we're definitely going to have to extract that commander or commit to the commander bomb if we're going to want to see any products here. Destroyers are having a proper battle here. It looks like we've gone straight up to destroyer gameplay. We're not even bothering with anything cheaper. Why bother, after all? We've gone right up to proper destroyer versus destroyer here, which is very nice. I'd love to see these spread out so there's absolutely no AoE damaging each other here. Alright, we're getting that T2 economy up and running, which is really nice to see. Basically, this naval battle usually turns into whoever can get a proper proper T2 economy up and running first. It's going to have a little bit of a better time. Looks like some resurrection subs are piecing together what was lying at the bottom of the ocean floor here, which is really nicely done. We have a couple of these fighters are actually going to fly over the anti-air here, which is really, really important. These early fighters are much more valuable than they would be considered later in the game. So getting those early on with the pick is really, really nicely done. Commander is the only thing left standing after those Dolphins have wiped away the Navy of Ceremos. Dolphy's in a pretty good position here. Meanwhile, a fierce naval engagement on the northern side of the map here. We can see that Bean did actually capture this northern island. Very nicely done. Meanwhile, missed it, but 01 Hex has completely lost their front line, and now Phalange is moving forward with a bunch of these T1 units. Now, Hounds are out, and if we use these super efficiently, we can drive back this force with them. But I mean super efficiently. We need to see the most efficient Hound gameplay I think I've ever seen in my life to take down this many units quick enough to save this base over here. Irritating Man is in quite a lot of trouble. Absolutely. Dolphins are eventually... Dolphy's Dolphins. There we go. Dolphy's Dolphins are going to take down the production facility here of Ceremos to at the very least secure that naval advantage. And in the meantime, we are going to continue teching up to that T2 economy. We have plenty of metal production, and we're actually overproducing metal here, which is going to be great in case we want to go into that T2, like fusion reactors, those T2 energy producers. This front line is looking pretty bad, though. Yeah, things are not looking good. We do have a gunslinger out. That's always a decent option for dealing with these units. It does a pretty good spike of damage, especially against these T1, and it's very survivable. It's got that regenerative nature to it. Eventually it will fall down, but not before getting a huge amount of value out. So eventually these T1 units were mopped up with a brutal and swift efficiency, but look at that. Phalange showing us that they're not afraid to bring out the real skill here by bringing these Resbots forward to the party to eat up as much of this as we can. Really nicely done. Really love to see that. In the backline here, we are up to a proper T2 economy. We are streaming out some Fiends to try and mop up the front line. This is the push and pull of teching, right? So when you push, you're probably pushing in because your opponent is teching, and when you finally see those T2 units, you sort of have to pull back. And so really nicely done by Braun 107. Braunlot? I don't know. Braun 107. Nicely done by Braun 107 to make sure that we're pulling these units back as soon as those T2 hit the field, because otherwise they're just going to die extremely inefficiently, and then it will essentially have been for nothing. Commander went down over here, by the way, for Ceremos, which does mean that the Navy is essentially one for Dolphy. That's going to force Ceremos to go into a T2 lab on a T1 economy. There was no T2 constructor handed over, despite having a T2 air player. Bean definitely should hand a T2 constructor over to Choice. Sorry, to Ceremos here. In fact, anyone who's playing the backline should basically hand out constructors. This player here should hand out a constructor to this player. To this player here. This player, if they're teching, should hand out a constructor to this player. If either of these players doesn't tech, the other one should be responsible for teching up the player on the other side here. Just a general case anyway. Sometimes there's strategies that involve other ideas, but for the most part, that's that's how it goes. Anyway, why don't I clear my drawing off the map? We are going up to a fusion reactor. That's quite nice to see. Meanwhile, amping up that T2 unit production, which is also very nice. Hounds are starting to push back the front lines here. We can see that the commander went down, and I'm guessing it was to all those Fiends that pushed forward. Yep, bunch of Wolverine debris, which tells me, yeah, and Fiend debris, which tells me that this engagement went very sour. That engagement definitely went south here. There's a lot of Grim Reapers out, but we're not resurrecting or reclaiming any of these wrecks on the bottom of the ocean, which is sort of odd. I'm not sure why we're not eating that metal back up or trying to refloat some of those ships. We certainly should be. The Green Navy is only going to increase in strength here, and so we really need to be we need to be proactive about getting units out and reclaiming as much metal as possible here. Meanwhile, Hounds are slowly starting to pick apart this front line. You can see they outrange basically everything here. In fact, I think they even outrange the heavy laser turret here with a range of 650. Heavy laser turret with a range of 620, just barely outrange it. They don't have the vision bot. They don't have a radar bot. No radar jammer either. So at least not right now can they do too much. I mean, well, they could definitely push forward, but they can't infinitely siege as they certainly could if they had that vision. Dolphy going up to a Tech 2 naval facility here. We are stalling on metal, but we are producing quite a lot. Wow, 150 metal per second. Are we? We're reclaiming the commander. I was going to say, how are we already up into the hundreds of metal per second? But yeah, we are reclaiming on the other side. We're going to build a T2 factory, and we're going to make the blue team pay for it. Rix is continuing production here, and that's all he has to do to get on top of this. Unless Sharp is building up a T2 economy in the backline, which he isn't. This eventually is going to collapse, and Rix is going to be in a tremendous position. Rix is also building up a Tech 2 lab. One or the other would be great. Either produce more units or build that Tech 2 lab. Either one is going to be really great. I don't think you need to do both, though. I think that's actually spreading yourself a little too thin. Eventually, it's going to be really nice, but it is going to be kind of risky. Dolphy's got a lot of anti-air planned. This construction ship has a very optimistic construction plan here. It's going to take a while. Northern section of the map, we do have an advanced fusion reactor underway. We're stalling on metal, but it looks like we were thinking about reclaiming this lab, which is the right idea. You could definitely finish this thing off with the metal tied up in this lab. You'd leak a little bit, so we need a metal storage, but that's all right. Same thing for this player, actually. Gonna be leaking metal eventually, but again, we have this T2. We also have the fusion reactor, which we could eat up. It cut down our energy production to about 1,000, but that'd be more than fine here. We don't really need all that energy production, especially since we're about to replace it with 3,000 energy worth of production, right? Backline here, we have another fusion reactor up and coming. Our first fusion reactor up and coming. Also, a really late anti-nuke. Dolphy saying we need help center, and I think they're right. Again, the center of the map is being pushed in. A bunch of purple gunslingers are marching forward. Man, those gunslingers, they're so frustrating to deal with. You can't engage with them unless you absolutely know that you're going to kill them, because otherwise it's just a waste. You just know that you're going to be you know that you're just going to scratch them up and they're going to get some experience, and then they're going to be right as rain the next time that you see them. Sharp is now forced out of the water. Commander does explode, wiping out the last trace of any sort of production here for the orange player in the sea. And that means that they are going to be, at least for the time being, strictly land-based creatures. Strictly a land-based creature. Single heavy strategic bomber is out, but I think I would have loved to see some torpedo bombers more than anything so that we can help contest our sea up north. If you can win both seas on this game, it is rare that you lose the match. That is usually a tremendous advantage. Gunslinger's in a little bit of trouble. Ooh, 2 of them go down. I thought that one might get out here and re-heal itself, but it looks like it will go down. Spybot being used by Phalange here to allow the Arbiters to push forward. Gotta be careful, those Arbiter missiles are very prone to friendly fire. Oh, we do have a bunch of these Trashers here, the light anti-air bots. Not good enough to take down this Blizzard in one volley, though, and so it will sneak away. This Hailstorm, rather. Blizzard is the Armada equivalent. By the way, if you notice that you're taking very precise hits from artillery, or siege units, or anything like that, yeah, consider Spybots. That's probably what's going on here. Ooh, the Spybot just barely avoided detection here. Very nicely done. Ooh, Commander takes a nice hit on the head. Those Arbiter missiles can be really, really dangerous. Heavy laser turret as well. Off-coast heavy laser turret. Putting in a little bit of work, why not? Anti-nukes popped out all over the place. These are mobile anti-nukes, the little umbrellas. Cute little bug-like anti-nuke creature from the Armada toolkit. But they can be very powerful. Ooh, big nuke lands right there on Blue's base. Just barely caught it on the edge of the screen. Phalange's entire facility goes down to a very well-placed nuke here, just barely out of range of the anti-nuke. And that means that Phalange is going to have no more units hitting the front line for quite some time. Gonna have to rebuild from essentially nothing up to a decent economy. Immediately jumps on top of the windmill production. Yep, you're gonna need it. If that happens to one of your teammates, always keep in mind that if you have this T1 economy laying over and you already have advanced fusion reactors, just hand over these windmills. They're gonna be such a tremendous energy boon. It's gonna really speed up that recovery process by quite a lot. Just something to keep in mind. Phalange is definitely an experienced player, so they'll be back in the game in no time. Also being sure to use this army they have aggressively to keep their opponent down so that they can't counteract or can't take advantage of that huge nuke. Another nuke right here on the front line would be absolutely devastating. It would allow all of the units here to push forward. Dolphy has the T2 units out. Has the T2 constructor up and remaining. We do have a commando out on the field. Commandos are very powerful. They actually just removed the commando's mine layer ability. It was being used as an incredible offensive option where you could just lay mines underneath buildings and it would do a tremendous amount of damage. And I don't think that was how it was intended to be used, so they did remove it eventually. Commandos also have a anti-radar field that surrounds them, which means that all of these units are jammed, or at least the transport is jammed, which is really, really nice. Oh, the nuke is firing. Who's got the nuke, by the way? Looks like it's right here. Going to be targeting, ooh, right into the back line here. Now, luckily, there is an anti-nuke that was built, this mobile anti-nuke, the umbrella here. Oh, did the nuke get canceled? Oh, the nuke stopped. Okay, we stopped it just in time. Interesting play. Meanwhile, the commando has been dropped on the enemy lines. Oh, it looks like the medium mine is still here. Maybe that hasn't gone into effect, or maybe I misread that patch note. Either way, the commando is out and about here. And I think I know what that big play is that Dolfy was talking about. Commando steps in, starts building these mines. And there goes all of the production. Starts building the mines right underneath the advanced fusion reactor. Got 4 of them now, 5 of them. Man, how long is it going to take? I guess these mines won't go off until they're triggered here. Either way, that's plenty of mines. Commando gets in, places all the mines. Uh-oh. Oh, this is going to be juicy. And there it goes. Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. The commando completely wipes the purple player off the map. Roger is left with just their commander remaining. After a single commando has broken into the back line, mine laid the entire rear facility. And now suddenly there's no more purple player. Where once there was a huge purple, suddenly there is no more purple player. Very nicely done. Dolphy, you never cease to amaze me with your limitless actions per minute. Your amazing plays here. We're starting up a transport, oddly enough. I'm not sure why we're doing that. There are fighters out and about here. The transport does get shot down because of it. Wonder what the play is here now. Just going to keep moving the commander up the shore here. Not a great option to deal with this thing. I think a gunship might be good, but I don't think Bean was paying attention. I don't think they noticed. Yep. No radar signature, no vision signature, nothing. Not until the commando gets well within range of all this technology center here. Oh, this is gonna be absolutely beautiful. Commander detonates the landmine, allowing all of this to go up in smoke here. Yep, and we queue up a bunch of landmines right around here. Oh man, that's 2 bases down. Can we get a third? That's the question. Landmines are already charged all around this base. Oh, 1 more. Well, we can always self-destruct these anyway. And there it goes. Oh my goodness. Bean suffering the wrath of the big Dolphy as suddenly a commando has flipped the entire tide of this battle. Where once there were 2 players with massive economies, there is now none. 1 nuke lands on Phalange's base, reducing that player to atoms. Now suddenly, the economy is completely flipped in the red team's favor. Absolutely nuts. Can we build another commando? I don't see why not. Oh, we do have another commando out. Lovely. Yeah, I was going to say, why not go after this blue base, too? We could definitely sneak a commander in here and target down all of this. They're finishing up an advanced fusion reactor as we speak, so that could certainly be powerful. We've got some hovercraft, rocket hovercraft, trying to push forward here, doing, well, dumbfiring at this one spot on the ground. They could maybe be doing a little more. Probably not being microed, though. If I had to assume, it's probably mostly these commandos that are being microed more than anything else. Flagship is out here for the green player. Sorry, I got a little distracted there by Dolphy's place, and I think I'm going to have to go back to watching in just a second here. My voice losing control. This match is spiraling. We've got Rix here with a flagship out, and it's trying to do some damage, but it's a little unfocused at the moment. It's not managing to get a whole lot done. We do have a forward bot lab as well, which is quite a risky play, but I think if we build some construction turrets, that could be a huge play. Start pumping out a bunch of T1 units and spamming them up the shore here. Suddenly, this entire base goes up in smoke, as well as Kit Kat Red's base. Kit Kat Red is building a second bot lab for some reason. There was an anti-nuke guarding all these units, fortunately, for the blue team here. And so that does mean that, at least for the time being, this area is safe from nuclear annihilation. A Gorgon was built here. We don't see many of them. Those are actually pretty rare. Commando is out here now. Well, it's in its transport anyway, but it is out. And it's going to unload right next to Blue's base. I think that's absolutely the idea. Yep, there goes the mines, and they just can't learn their lesson. Keep punishing them. More mines go down here. How many does it take, I wonder? Surely it can't be very many. Can't be more than 6 or 7. Yeah, I think Battlestag put it perfectly. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. This is about to get real hectic here. Commandos marching into the back line. We have a Fat Boy out and available now. We're going to route this in a different way. That's a really smart idea. These these mines were never dealt with. We don't even know that they're here. Well, I guess we did see them, but we can't do anything about them. Well, we could eat them if we had vision of them. We need to move a unit over there in order to do that, though. How do you deal with this? You can't Juno those, right? If you explode those, you're done. I think your only option... Ooh, that Fat Boy doing a ton of friendly fire damage, by the way. I think if you explode those, you're done. So all you can do... Ooh, Commando takes a hit, but it does manage to survive. Whoa! Ooh, it will go down to the Fat Boys. Got really close to doing another huge hit right there. Mines are still here, though. Everyone's wondering when we're going to detonate these. I don't want to miss the explosion either, but now I don't know. Maybe Dolphy's just saving up here. He's going to try and kill them all at the same time or something. This is what happens when you play the game for so long that you have unlimited strategies in your mind, and you can just afford to do whatever you'd like. Just build as many of whatever as you'd like and try it all out. I absolutely love the fact that this game has such a wide and diverse array of tools, such that you can do bizarre things like this without ever having a problem. Whoa, looks like the mines did explode, but the advanced fusion reactor actually survived. Okay, well, I guess now we know that many mines is not enough to kill an advanced fusion reactor. That, or maybe somehow we ate a couple of them up or something, but anyway. Anyway. Lucky, very lucky for Cerimos that didn't completely kill their entire production facility here. But another commando is on the way, so we gotta be real careful. It's only gonna take a couple blasts from that commando's rifle thing, shoulder cannon, in order to kill these here. And I gotta say, man, making Cortex look absolutely phenomenal. Kit Kat Red has finally succumbed to the overwhelming force of fire brought on by 2 of these epochs. Bringing down their wrath on the base here, tearing down the economy centers. I just can't peel my eyes away from it, though. It's like watching a train wreck. Dolphy planting more mines underneath this thing. Very eager to get this advanced fusion reactor to explode, and I think with that many mines, we're eventually going to be able to do it. Indeed, the advanced fusion reactor does go up, leaving Cerimos with, well, nothing. We have a T2 constructor here. We have a Resbot here. Oh, we do have a T1 constructor, so that's nice. Fool me 3 times. Yeah. You know, at this point, you think they'd try and do something. I don't know, set up an air screen, or maybe get some units set up over on this side of the map. Do something, right? Nope. We're just gonna keep on keeping on. We do have some units over here to stop the run by of the commando. Not much to stop it if it went around this direction, though. I guess there's anti-air turrets over here, but the commandos don't really care too much about anti-air turrets. Oh yeah, we're starting out more. We do find the advanced geothermal plant just as valuable as a advanced fusion reactor. Half of what's powering this player's base. So this is the superpower of the commando. The transport was shot down, but the commando can just fall down to the ground and continue marching, which is super, super impressive. I think it's yeah, paratrooper bot, so it can it can fall out of the skies and land safely. It's the only bot in the game that can do that. The only unit in the game that can do that, as far as I'm aware, anyways. Commando's going to build itself a transport. Try and sneak past all of these units here. There are fighters, but it doesn't matter. The commando just has to get over them and past, and it will be just fine. So it's starting up a transport up here to try and sneak through. Look at this cute little commander. I better get a screenshot. Yeah. I know there's other parts of this map that are worth looking at here. This huge front line of fat boys, this massive siege from these epochs over here. But really, how much does that matter if all of the damage is just happening from a single unit in the backline, right? This commando is worth as much as a nuke or a marauder push or anything like that, just in the sense that it's not being countered. there's no response to it yet. This is where we usually see that cheese. That was a fun little meta that happened for about a week. Everyone was trying to sneak constructors into the backline here and get a cheese off. It's pretty easy to counter. You just put up a radar. You can see it happening and you can deal with it really easily. But if you don't see it coming, then it's certainly a powerful one. Anyways, commander sneaks into the backline, and we've seen this story before. Ah, we got some pro level micro here. We're eating up the landmines as quick as we can. Oh, there we go. We do get the constructors down. We're gonna blast. Ooh, we get the pawns too. So we're not going to be able to eat up this commando. Commando takes out most of the energy converters here for the light blue player. Dolfy, why you gotta do this, man? Absolutely nuts. Kiting with the commando here. Its laser blast is pretty powerful. And yeah, it takes down a lot of these units. The T1 units can't deal with it. Oh, we have a T3. Was that a T3 unit? What was that just fired over there? Some sort of artillery just fired. Oh, it was a rattlesnake in the base here. It does fire at the commando, but it does miss its shot. So this commando with very low health is going to slink away into the shadows, try and recover its health. That was absolutely nuts. Now Dolphy's flagship has been laying down supreme DACA on the front lines here. Got an anti-nuke. We've pinged in case we want to try and rid the world of that nuisance. Commando building another transport for its service. There are fighters lingering around though, so it's going to be hard to get that transport in the air. Meanwhile, we have to recover from our losses here. We can see that the light blue player Sky is now overflowing a tremendous amount of energy. We're producing 31,000 and we're only able to use 4,000 of it just because all of those energy converters got blown up. That's definitely a hit to the economy. You can see the production is now suddenly essentially turned off for the light blue player, who was at one point streaming out a tremendous amount of units to the front line. Now luckily there was a huge queue of units that had been built up, so that is quite nice. They are going to get into the back here. Kit Kat Red in a little bit of trouble. Fusion Reactor actually saves him. Or her? Not sure. Cat can be a girl's name too, so I'm not sure. Blessed by the Lord. Yeah, I couldn't have put it better myself, and the commandos do recover health, slowly but surely. Oh, okay, well. Transport is shot down immediately by a high wind. But it doesn't really matter. The commando is full health again, which all that really matters at this point. And it's moving back in for round 2. This is really frustrating. Whenever your buildings take damage, the construction turrets are going to try and repair those buildings, which means that you're essentially in this spot where they're going to repair this building for the next 4 years while all your units are going to take forever to produce. It's a really frustrating scenario. Commando is back in the base. Says, I'm not done with you yet. Oh, Rattlesnake was built over here in order to deal some defensive damage. Uh-oh, units are getting awfully close to those landmines. Not sure if you want to step over there. What was one all it's gonna take? And there it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4 bases brought low by the humble commando sent in to infiltrate the enemy lines. It does not get much better than this. This is peak beyond all reason gameplay. Dolfy, big credit to you. You weren't kidding. Never before seen, and I doubt anyone's going to be able to pull that off again. At the very least, you've instilled a fear in everyone's heart for the commando. We're gonna see tons and tons of thick fighter walls here to dissuade commandos from now on. At this point, Bean has rebuilt a little bit. Still not feeling great though. I believe Bean was one of the ones that was targeted down by a commando. You've been dolphed. Dolfy happy to follow this up with a devastating push here. Of course, there's no units to counter this massive tank push because all of that economy was wiped off, essentially setting these players back to the T1 era. So a bunch of humble T1 medium tanks are more than enough to sweep through and wipe off the right side of this map. There we go, that's his catchphrase. They call me Dolfy. Indeed they do. And maybe officially we should name this the Dolfy maneuver. Getting dolphed, as it were. Oh, the medium tank's just causing pure chaos. Marching forward, hovering forward. Just eager to tear down whatever they can find. T2 aircraft plant, sure, that's expensive. Tear that down. Always a good option. Some of these metal extractors as well. We do find a cloaked fusion reactor. I don't think Dolfy was looking. Oh man, that team's got to be so pissed. Suddenly their backline has evaporated. Sky, a little bit too late, is pinging the back area here, trying to highlight where the commando was hiding. But yeah, it's a little too late. Medium tanks doing a decent job against these welders. I assume, well, essentially anything in big enough numbers is going to do decently. Fat boys are a pretty good counter here. But there's a lot of these medium tanks. There's not a great great unit to address all this at the moment here. Medium tanks are moving towards the production base here of Bean. Also where all of the energy production for their allies is, and those construction turrets start to chain react. Yep, production is taken down here. Oh, that fat boy did tremendous friendly fire damage here. Also, you can notice on these gunships, just as an aside note, you can notice that these gunships, their projectiles fire a whole lot quicker. That was definitely part of the update. That was crystal clear. Is that their projectiles just travel a lot faster, which means that they're more likely to hit any units that they're shooting out on the ground. I think that's a pretty good change. A couple of these medium tanks continuing to move forward here. Are we going to continue with the commando harassment, or are we done with that era in our lives? We've got scout planes up, we've got hellstorms coming up. I think bombing is the name of the game here. Front lines have essentially dissolved. It's now backline versus backline at this point. Irritating Man has built tons of static defense right here. Well, tons, I guess it's a couple of pitbulls. I would really love to see these starlights here moving forward to actually shoot down these epochs. That's a really efficient use for them, just because of how long range their fire is. Catapult, also a really good unit for taking down these epochs here. You can see the spread on these is quite large, but when you fire them at a bunch of grouped epochs, it's a really big target. It's going to be pretty hard to miss. The tank production continues here. The tanks keep rolling. Although I guess they keep hovering. Not really, not so much any wheels on the hover tanks, are there? And this is what we like to see for economy. Bunch of advanced fusion reactors built up here, bunch of energy converters. This is a proper T2 economy. Very nicely done. Dolphy's teammates even a little concerned here, building some shield generators in their base. I don't know what on earth to even fire at them, short of, I don't know, maybe some sort of forward Calamity or Ragnarok, but aside from that, I don't know what they're afraid of here. Afraid of enough to warrant that many plasma shields anyways. Artillery is slowly beginning to seep through these plasma shields for the orange player, which is quite concerning. We have tons of fiends though, so we can definitely shoot down all of these medium tanks before they become a problem. Hide comm, we only have 2. Oh, that's a good point. All that brilliant play was worth nothing if you just end up losing the commanders. You lose the game anyway. That is the win condition, after all. And this Fat Boy army is now looking quite menacing. Huge open line on the front here, though. Ah, tons of stealth tanks coming out as well. That's a good option. Oh, was that friendly fire? I think it might have been. Oh no, sorry, that was the yellow player building a forward outpost on this beach right here that these Fat Boys wiped out. Okay. More commandos coming in here. Now we're sending in 2. Gonna try and micro 2 commanders at the same time. It's risky, but if you can do it, you can be in a great position here. Scouts are flying ahead to make sure that there's nothing unexpected in the way here. The commanders are just diving in on the base. Oh, one commander is down. Other has landed as well. Well, the gunships are quick to jump on it, and they dismantle it super quickly. Really good response right here. Now, this one was not dealt with. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You're about to get dolphed. Oh, the shurikens just barely come in time. Just barely stunning this thing before it could get a landmine out. Oh, that was close. The gunships do show up eventually, and that commander will be reduced to ruin. But man, that could have been bad. These epochs are being annoying here, but there's not a whole lot they can do outside of their field of fire. You can see they have a tremendous range. This base is already porcupined up with a bunch of these deflector shields here. So is the orange base, so it's going to be really hard to punch through that again now that they've recuperated their energy. So things are looking really, really tough here. Our green player is giving it a phenomenal effort, though. Rinks is doing a great job. We need to see a T2 economy starting up, though. We really don't have it. One advanced fusion reactor, or one regular fusion reactor, sorry. One naval fusion reactor, I should say. It's not going to be enough energy production here to scale properly. So I think I'd like to see... we're going to go for T1 spam. Well, okay. Not quite what I would have loved to see. I think I would have loved to see some proper T3 unit production, maybe some Titans, or at the very least Razorbacks, Vanguards, all that good stuff. Dolphy is starting up the T3 lab. Sorry, has finished up the T3 lab, I should say. Did we? Oh yeah, we have tons of bombers too. So every unit under the sun is available at Dolphy's disposal here, which is going to be really, really powerful heading into the late game. Yeah, you can see these T1 units, they just don't trade efficiently enough to be worth spamming here. They're not fast enough to spam effectively. I'm not sure why the anti-nukes are moving in with this army here. That's a bit odd. Yeah, they get shot down pretty quickly. They're a prime target. Uh-oh. Isn't looking good. That was a little bit of a micro mistake there. Some of these tanks roll over in this direction as well. The fighters roll out, and there's not a big enough fighter screen to contest that many fighters on Dolphy's part here. Plenty of scout planes as well to take a proper look around. The fighters are meeting up with the scouts, and this is going to be a killer bombing run. Take note, folks. Tune back in case you're looking at your phone. You're eating right now. Tune back in. This is the time to watch. This is what you do. You send in the fighters, you send in the scouts, and you send in the bombers, all in nice little waves here. I'm betting these bombers are targeting the advanced fusion reactors. There they go. And they get it. All of the production for the blue player has been completely reduced to nothing here. All of the production back here was chain reacted. All those construction turrets fell. Everything has been taken down for the blue team. Oh, Dolphy, you are ravaging this team here. Showing us what just 3% of Dolphy's power is truly capable of. Oh, I love to see it. I'd love to see some more swarm over here, get a whole bunch of Seekers coming out of this. Maybe 2 or 3 more labs and just make 100 Seekers a second. That way we have something to make these fat boys shoot each other in the feet. They're really prone to that. They're really prone to friendly fire, just as much as the Tsar is for the Cortex faction. So I'd really love to see that. Meanwhile, the stream of units for the blue team is going to be completely gone. Our blue player has actually tapped out of the game at this point. Not willing to put up with this anymore. Dolphy shenanigans have wiped their interest in this game off the face of the map. Nuke snipes a huge bit of Rogers production. Those T1 title generators can actually contribute quite a lot. Let's see, about 800, almost 900 energy in naval generators, tidal generators here, and there was about twice that. So let's call it 2,400 energy or so that was just removed from Roger's kit. Now, obviously, attacking back here would be the ultimate hit, but they don't know that there's absolutely no anti-nuke production back here. So I guess that's one reason. I would probably assume that there's anti-nuke production, but certainly there isn't. Torpedo bombers to wipe away the green stranglehold on the Navy up north, and that is going to allow a lot more harassment opportunities, as now there is no more anti-air floating on the top of the sea, and that means that planes are going to be free to harass the green player along this sort of northern shore here. Also, yeah, all these bombers are going to be really good for attacking. Oh no, we're going to nuke. Hopefully we don't catch too many of our own bombers here. Nope, looks like we're good. So the torpedo bombers do start dropping their bombs on all of these ships. Really quick way to blast down any of these. Now, luckily, they're hiding sort of in between these islands, which means that a lot of these torpedoes are, yeah, they're gonna do that. Torpedo bombers are sort of notoriously bad at hitting their shots if the boats are anywhere near land. But at least these epochs are finally being dealt with in an efficient manner. That's really nice to see. They're going to be forced to retreat here. Unit production is sort of online. We can see that Orion XDD is trying to produce out of all of these labs, but we haven't got any construction turrets anymore. There we go. We're finally starting those back up. Maybe didn't realize that all that had crumbled after Dolphy's little shenanigans on the land. Those bombers, nuclear bombers out in the backline here. I'd love to see us get some use out of it. Red team has tons of fighters, though. Yellow is producing fighters, orange producing fighters, red is producing fighters, so it's going to be really hard to sneak a nuclear bomber through to anywhere super meaningful. There's a lot of mediocre targets. We could certainly... There, look at that. We've got some scuttles. I absolutely love this scuttle. It's probably one of my favorite units. It's just, it's hilarious. Like, the idea of a cloaked nuclear bomb is just so menacing. There's so much potential here. I'd love to see these cloaked, by the way. The bedbug cannot cloak. It's the cheapo version. You can see 69 metal, very nice. But the scuttle costs quite a bit more metal and tons more energy, 26,000 energy. So very, very energy dense. But it's well worth it. Those things can do tremendous effect. Dolphy now storming the beaches with these T1 medium tanks, and there is absolutely no counter to these, at least not at the moment. Do we still have those gunships? We do have those gunships. I'd love to see these moved over here. Probably a decent enough option. They're not going to stop this, but they're going to start whittling it down, making a little bit of progress here. But we do find a commander, and I'm sure we're going to be eager to start harassing that. The boat over here is actually trying to fire on the economy center. Oh no, we're actually aiming for the commander right now. Commander does go down, and that means we're going to start targeting the next best thing, which is going to be, for now, this T2 lab. Ooh, advanced geothermal plant goes up, takes down all of the advanced fusion reactors for Sky, for Orion, for everybody here. The game is looking quite sour at this point, and what was once a tremendous disadvantage on the front lines has now been carved back into a relatively set in stone match. A lot of these hover tanks getting a little airtime from these nukes as they start to hover their way up into the backlines. Huge props to Roger, by the way, for building on the back of this, still getting back into the game on the end of all of this. Also for keeping essentially his entire team in the game with all this energy production, handing out advanced fusion reactors, handing out whatever is necessary. Really, really nicely done there. OP commando play. Couldn't have said it better myself. Marauders are out now, and that's a really, really good end game. Great way to seal the deal is to send these Marauders in. They're going to get a phenomenal trade here. Advanced fusion reactor under quite a lot of trouble. Arbiters are launching their missiles at it, and it goes boom. Oh, it's Dolphy indeed. Nuclear bombers come out. Roughnecks are finally being used to try and help clean up this push. They're sent in where these Marauders are, but the Marauders have that anti-air. Ooh, and we're grouping up the gunships. Yeah, unfortunately, that one-way ticket to death. The fighters are a pretty good express pass as well. Marauders sweeping through the northern beaches here. The green player the green naval player for the blue team. It was actually resigned at this point. No longer tapped into this game. They have tapped out, as many of folk have pointed out to me. Bombers, checking through the frames. Bombers have wiped out all of the production in the back line for the blue team, and that is going to be game. What an absolutely phenomenal one. Dolfy showing us that there's tons of room for creativity in this match. Even if you're not familiar with, you know, exactly what units you should build, you can always get real comfortable with the ones that are out there, and you can do some tremendous things. Showing us that those commandos, man, they can be deadly. Those T2 Cortex bots, man, they are dangerous. Orion is just chilling in the water here. Finally, the commander goes down, and well played to the red team. Dolfy definitely taking over as the star of the show here, but I got to give props to the entire red team for holding on there. That front line was collapsing really quickly, and if it had reached Dolphy's base, of course, none of this would have been possible. So, really nicely done to the entire red team, but especially Dolfy for showing us that epic commando play. Let me know what you thought about it down below in the comments. And again, don't forget to go check out Dolfy whenever he is up and online and streaming. Thanks a ton for watching, and I will see you. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, that's nice. I will see you in the next video.